I Can See the Sun in Late December by Roberta Flack is the Cotton Candy Clouds podcast song of the day. What's up, you guys? I'm Fee. This is the Cotton Candy Clouds podcast, and I'm so grateful that you're here with me. I just got pissed because I was about to record, and a Siri search bar was at the top of the voice note out, and I said, "Excuse me," because the one thing about me, I don't play about the voice is listening to who I am. And so I know, I know it's a little conspiratorial, but bear with me. But so I go to my settings and I'm like, I thought I had turned off Siri on everything, and sure enough, it was on everything. It said, "Learn the app, honey." No, don't learn nothing from me. It's been tons and thousands of times that I have been sitting up here looking at a commercial, looking at a company, a corporation, and thinking, I know these folks was reading my notes. I know they listened to my voice note. I know they did. And I know people say, we all are, there's a what is it, a shared consciousness where we all get the ideas from each other. And now it's specific to Felicia. Yeah. So anyway, another thing. I hope y'all doing all right. December, it's Decembering. It's, to me, this month has felt like short and long at the same time, and I got to figure out the verbiage for that feeling. But winter is coming, so maybe, and I don't know, maybe it gets shorter, I think is what they be saying. I can't even remember because let me tell you about something else disturbing. As soon as Mercury started going in reverse, my laptop, once again, now y'all remember, if you've been listening, that my laptop just wouldn't be charged, turn on anything. I want to say August. So guess what? As soon as Mercury went in reverse, because they say, I had read something that said when Mercury retrogrades, your electronics start doing little whoop-de-doos or whatever. If you're into that kind of juju, I am. So sure enough, my laptop, for the second time this year, went out. The screen, to be fair, the screen is basically like black, but I can still kind of see it. It's weird. And also, to be fair, the only reason why I'm not devastated, crying, throwing up, is because the screen was already compromised from a previous mishap about 5 years ago or something, where I put my laptop, I put my laptop in a bag and I put a can of juice in there, and it spilled inside the screen. Okay. I'm impressed, however, and grateful that that particular laptop lasted this long. I guess that model of Acer is the bomb diggity. It was built different, but the one that I had, that was the older one, but the one that I've had for like the past 3 years, it was not built different. And you know what? I have to be realistic too, though, because I'm rough with electronics in general. I probably could use some electronical device etiquette. But I'm also not going to do that, because also I don't care, because it's 2023, and instead of making devices practical, they make device technology impractical, barely accessible, junk that is it's just junk, and it doesn't make sense. And it's obviously for a group of people who can afford it, and it'll take, 10, or maybe you don't know, but it takes 10 to 20 years for it to be accessible to everyone. And then, even in its usage, it's not even practical or accessible, or and literally accessible as in people who are disabled or people who are not can use it. No, everybody can't use it is what I'm trying to say. And that if I'm gonna go down that train, then I'm really thinking about the fact that I don't like the way people seem to think that humans have really mastered technology and are so great with the devices and all that, because the real thing is we're not. We're actually dumb with it, and we're behind, actually. Because if everybody can't use it, or if we can't do anything major with it, or we can't find multiple uses for one thing, then what are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? Why did phones explode that one year? We're too, in theory, we are too far in making technology for things like that to be happening. To me, I know human error is a thing, but let's just be real. Y'all saying that we went on the moon, let's be real. Let's actually be real. And a long time ago, when I was in school, I had a professor that said, people believe that technology is about the physical craftsmanship of things with metal. But he was saying technology has changed over time for each era, and technology could be something as simple as fire. Because technology is literally just, what can we do to make this easier to form within the systems so that we can survive and to make our lives better. So, I'm trying to stop saying, but what I'm trying to say is that I'm not necessarily a person who's pro technology. Every time something drops, I'm not trying to see it. I've always been someone who's do I have to even use my cell phone? Now, one thing I can say is not having a laptop is debilitating. But a phone, I can, whatever. But laptops for me is I need the bigger screen. I need to be able to type. I need to, so you don't know because you're not like me. You take care of your devices. But here we are. And I am writing raw notes because I got to have my little pod notes. And I'm writing on paper, which I do, I journal. So, yeah. Word of the day is raconteur, Raconteur. It is a noun, and it means someone who excels in telling anecdotes. Someone who excels in telling anecdotes, raconteur. And I'm probably not a raconteur per se, but I aim and I strive to be one day where I can talk my talk, tell my stories. People can laugh, people can cry, or you don't know, but I too want to be charismatic, and I have my own dreams of gathering the masses, or not really necessarily masses, but a small group of people, cool people. But when I think of anecdotes, for some reason I think of, and I know this probably, well, I guess it all connects, but I think of idioms, I think of phrases that keep culture, keep society. And I saw one the other day and someone was critiquing it, and I was like, finally, they get me. Because first of all, I'm not really a big fan of those little phrases and idioms, and some of the old wives' tales and stuff are very valuable, and it differentiates within cultures of its meaning and reasoning. And for me, as a Black woman, Southern, I definitely hold value to those. But for the most part, the Eurocentricized ones, the ones that are basically toxic positivity, they never have made sense. And that could just be the autism. But they just never made sense. And I'm going to give you two examples that really make my stomach hurt. And when I say stomach hurt, I genuinely mean like boil, get nauseated, because I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, what are we saying to society and the children and the babies? So one of them is that I hate it, common little quip, whatever you call, and I don't know the names for all of them. Some of them are idioms, some of them are quips, some of them are, encouraging phrases. I don't know, but you'll know when you hear these two that just make my stomach drop. So one of them is closed mouths don't get fed. Now, something about people connect this to some scriptures. Listen, I'm rusty, but I know some things. That's beside the point. Closed mouths don't get fed makes zero fucking sense. And here's why. Let's just start with the obvious. If you are blind or deaf, how would you tell someone you're hungry? Would you just throw a cup of day? Like, we've got to be looking at all forms of humanity. But besides that, you know what I'm saying? Besides that, why is it that a human being, a person existing in this world at any stage in life, has to constantly tell people when they are in need? As if being in need is not something that you can actually overtly see on another person. When I'm walking down the street and I see someone in 30-degree weather has a coat on that's half the coat, they don't need to tell me that they're cold. Okay? I can see that because I got my eyes. Now, hey, somebody else may not have eyes and can't see that. And maybe that's who they talking to. But again, the circle of life, what are you talking about? Closed mouths don't get fed. And I understand when these phrases were created, or I don't understand, but I partially understand that one of the reasons why is people don't want to take the time to talk to people, or really children, because most of these were created for children. People don't want to take the time to explain things to children, so they make these short sentences without explanation, and they're just like, let's throw this at this child or this person so that they can like get a big part of human existence. And it's just eventually that wears off and wears down, and then it just doesn't make sense. And now you're creating people who are just agitated with their own human experience, with the humans around them, because none of it makes sense, because it doesn't actually. Closed mouths don't get fed. Does not make sense. You can argue with your mother. You can argue with your father, your grandmother, your children, the sun, your God. It will never make sense, because there's just too much nuance to closed mouths don't get fed. To me, it's great that you can ask someone for something that you need and they can give it to you or not, which happens often. But also it's great to know that there are people who are struggling, going through things, and it's imperative that other people ask them what they need or what their problem is. That in your times of suffering, that you shouldn't be out here having to worry and have another worry of, damn, I got to make sure that while I'm suffering in my brain and I'm hungry and I need these things, that I have to ask, because no one else will know. Even though I'm missing an arm, no one will know. Let me calm down, okay? So the second one that I hate, This one gets me really to my core. Because the closed mouths one, although I'm impassioned about it, of course, and many others, I know for me, I'm not even going to be asking people for help anyway. So it doesn't even matter. But for this one, it's just like, this is very toxic positivity. This is very, there's more to divulge. Like, it's, and I've lived this anyway. The second one is, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Let me tell you something. First of all, people don't understand this. Existing through survival does not represent strength. Existing through survival does not represent strength, because you can see me and you can see the things that I have gone through. And again, that goes back to even the first one. But because you can see that I've gone through these things and I'm alive and I'm breathing and my heart is pumping and my brain is working, it doesn't mean I'm strong, hun. It doesn't. And it's just like, what the hell are you talking about? If it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. There are pieces of human beings, remnants of humans, humanity existing amongst us, ghosts, zombies in physical form. This ain't no coming through the walls type shit. This is your brother. This is one of your neighbors, barely holding on. And you got some knucklehead motherfucker from the past, and people who have continually, out of ignorance or whatever they got going on, have told you what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. If we think about the word, there's so many things it is, but if we think about the word kill, I'm already dead, baby. I'm slowly dying, and that's just the basis of me being a human being on this plane. But after that, I can also be dead spiritually, solely on this earth, because the things that haven't killed me have killed me. My spirit, my drive, my ambition, my desires, my wants, my abilities, those things do get killed too. From messing with different folks or from dealing with different jobs. Hell, sometimes having children, Lord bless them, it's a lot going on in the world. And you trying to uplift me by telling me, hey, you didn't die, so you're strong, baby. I don't care. And and one of the things about, in particular, being a black woman is being strong, the strong black woman trope. It ain't helped us. Not in the most recent times. Maybe it does help you to almost ignore and berate yourself, to convince yourself that your strength is somehow going to keep you alive and keep you strong. But again, everybody has a breaking point. Even generational wise, people have breaking points. You can't ignore this. This is science, babe. And I think black women in particular, this is just one aspect of my experience, have hit a wall of the strength is killing us. And that in itself is powerful, because if what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, what if your strength kills you too? You know what I'm saying? And you may not know what I'm saying, but you should try to know what I'm saying. Listen now. I don't like it. Okay? I don't like it. I don't live by that. Oh, these could be called creeds too. I don't know. I don't live by any of these. It's what doesn't kill you, man. Sometimes, and people have remixed it. What doesn't kill you makes you, what are some of them? I don't even know, because it just irritates me that the phrase exists or whatever. I know, again, like I was saying, I know that at the end of the day, probably, I guess, that people have come up with some of these things to help. They do think they're helping. they're trying to prevent people from going through things as well in children, but it's just so when you sit back as a the ponderers out there, the thinkers, the overthinkers, they will be the ones to basically break down things like this, because it's like, if you are a thinking person and if you do have a moment to think, let's say you're not someone who's you're in your head, but you have a moment, you gonna be like, what the heck does that mean? Now you more confused. Now you really weak. Now you really, being killed, or now your mouth really gonna be closed. It's just like, I know for me, what doesn't kill me has made me a lot of things that aren't good. And that's not to say that I'm not alive here today, grateful, because I am, but I'm definitely not stronger. And I don't think anybody should be telling people this anymore. So let me release that. But listen, if you do still want to be comforted despite your suffering, quote of the day. Quote of the day is by Augusto Cury, who is a Brazilian writer, psychiatrist, psychotherapist, and physician who developed the multifocal theory. Quote of the day is, the sensitive suffer more, but they love more and they dream more. That's quote of the day. The sensitive suffer more, but they love more and dream more. And you know what? There's truth to that. I can attest to that. I do be dreaming. I damn sure to be doing that in my sleep, and also maladaptively and otherwise. And I do love with a heaviness. And speaking more of suffering, movie moss, let's do it. Okay, first of all, let me apologize to myself, really, but through the pod. I think it's been 4 days at this point that I have not watched a movie. It's hard, y'all, to ingest these Christmas movies on purpose every single damn day. I'd be better off. I might have to watch like a few in a day. But I've missed 4 days, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna drop those within the time before Christmas, Xmas, Treemas, whatever. I'm gonna get this name eventually that I'm gonna create for it. But Movie Must, again, is a Christmas movie, a holiday movie, etc. Every day. Watching that from December 5th, I want to say, until Christmas. So, I do have one for today. So, Movie Months, Home by Christmas. It's just so typical Lifetime movie. It's just so typical Lifetime, and that's why I loved it. I give it 4 out of 5 Christmas trees. I mean, it's just quality drama, sadness, suffering, quite frankly. But at the end, she prevailed. And through just, again, that Christmas miracle wonder, you know what I'm saying? And it's nonsensical, but we get it because it's Lifetime. And it's this woman, and she's just the best wife, mother, just so full of love. But unfortunately, she's just blindsided all of a sudden, and she's left to basically become homeless and a divorcee within a matter of days. So, Home by Christmas can be found on Tubi. And I think you'll like it. Anytime, I don't care, man, woman, child, anytime I get a chance to, I can watch it a lot, even though it is, got its moments where I'm like, what? And enraged by some of the characters. I still can watch it a lot. And I try to suggest it to anybody who's into Christmas movies, or just anybody really. But Home by Christmas, find it on Tubi, watch it for movie months. And before I go, I do want to say, question of the day is, what phrases or idioms do you not like and why? Okay? All of these things are posted on Facebook and Twitter. I'm out here. We're out here. The Cotton Candy Clouds podcast. Don't forget on Ko-fi, ko-fi.com. The Cotton Candy Clouds podcast is on there, and you can get either an incense bundle or a crystal bundle or both, whatever you want. I got you. And I think I've posted also a few books on there as well. But yes, December is slowly moving through, but fast at the same time. Again, I'm going to have to figure out some kind of vocabulary description of that, or find a word for that, because I just don't understand it. We're out here though. I can't believe we've come this far. And when I look back, and I don't know if you guys are looking back, because there's some things I want to do for the end of this year. There's some changes I want to make, like some end of the year type situations. And we'll get more into that. And next Tuesday, the last week in December. Okay. Hear you later.